Hey guys, welcome to part 2 in the over-under higher-lower guessing game. And let's continue right where we left off. So the last thing we did was we created a top J panel and we set the layout to be 1 row and 4 columns. Now we're going to add our labels to our thingy. So first label, that's going to be a new J label, and then inside here we're going to put a blank. You have to put these two empty quotes, or else it's going to give an error, because it affects a string. So just put an empty string, and it won't affect it at all. And then put plus, and then what do we want to display in here? Well, we want to display the first rand, because when we spawn the game, load the game, I guess, we want the user to already have a number to guess off of, higher or lower. So we just put first rand. So that way, they're like, oh, what number should I guess? They already have one, so maybe it's like 5. Well, is the next one going to be higher or lower? Well, it's probably going to be higher. It's 75% chance it's higher because it's out of 20. So, that's why you want to put first rand just in the first label. Those next ones we're not going to put like rand 2 or rand 3. And then we want swing constants center, and all that does is center it inside of its grid, so it looks a lot neater. And then first label, set font, and we want that to be the font, and then we'll top, add first label. And what that does is it adds the first label to the top panel. It doesn't, if you were to just type in add first label, it would add it, I think, to the pane, and it would get really messed up, and yeah, your program would be a mess. So make sure you type in top.add, and you're adding it to the top panel, so that's going to be in the first column. Yeah. Alright, so now do the same thing for the second label, third label, and fourth label. So I'm just going to copy and paste. I'm not going to talk much here. So second, third, fourth. Alright. Remember, you gotta delete these plus operator here. Because you don't want to display the first rand anymore. So delete that. Fix that a little bit. Put your comma in. And what the hell? Alright, there we go. Alright. Now I'll just fix this. So second label, and it's a new J label. Second label. Second. Alright, there we go. Make sure you get that just like that, and don't remember to delete these this first rand thing here, because we don't want to display the first rand in all of them, or it'll just look really dumb, because it'll be the same number. And then after we add the fourth label, we want to add the top panel to our pane. So pane.add top. There we go. And there we go. Now put another comment, middle panel setup. And now we're not adding labels, we're adding the button, the or label, and the other button that says lower. So another J panel, call it middle. It's gonna be new J panel. And then set this layout to 1, 3. There we go, because we're only having 3 components and we want it left to right, so yeah, you'll see. Alright, and then our higher, it's gonna be a new J button, and it's gonna say higher, and I'll just put it in all uppercase like that. And then middle, add higher. Now we want our or label. So that's going to be a J label, obviously. It's going to be new. Label. Inside of this is going to say or. And then comma, and we want that to be centered, so swing constants, center. And middle.add or. Now we want our lower button. Alright, perfect. Now add the middle pane, or middle panel to the pane. What? Mod. Middle. There we go. Down a couple. Alright. Okay, now just kind of go in order here, and so you don't get too lost. We're just going to add the action listeners right now instead of jumping down to the bottom panel, but then we'll resume. So just add the action listeners. This class is just going to be called event, because basically that's what it is. It's event. And E into new event, and then just add action listeners to both your buttons. So higher. Whoa, action listener. And then lower. Alright. Now, we're done with that. Now all we need to do is the bottom panel. So, simplest one, bottom panel. That's going to be a panel. Whoa, why did I call it panel? Bottom. And this is messed up. Alright. And then set the layout. So bottom, set layout, and just use a grid layout again. Let's do 1, 1 this time, because we're setting one object. I guess you could use flow layout also, but nah, I just prefer grid layout. And then, now we're using a win or lose label, so win or lose. It's going to be a new J label. And at first it's not going to say anything, it will later, and just give it the center attribute. Win or lose, set font. And then add your win or lose to your bottom panel. So bottom, add win or lose, and then add your bottom panel to your pane. Alright, now finally we're done with the layout. And just adding it. So if you ran it now, which you couldn't because we don't have a main method, but if you ran it now, all you could do was one number would show up, a menu, and you could either click higher or lower and nothing would happen. It'd be fairly pointless, so yeah. But we'll fix that now. So we got your find where your constructor ends, go out of that, go out of that, and then make your event class. And this is going to be the longest action performed method. When I wrote this, I think it was like somewhere around 50 to 60 lines, maybe 70 lines, so it's a lot, but a lot of it repeats itself, so you can copy it. So, public class event implements listener, like normal, nothing new here. Then you gotta use your normal action perform method. Again, nothing new there. And the first thing we want to do is get a string, and we'll call it option, and that's gonna be equal to E, and then get action command. And what this is gonna do is it's gonna let our program differentiate, whatever, you know what I'm trying to say, differentiate, whatever, between which buttons they clicked. If they either click the higher, or if they click the lower button. So this is what our string option is going to be able to let our program tell. So yeah, let's see, I got time for a little bit more, so let's see. Now we'll just start on the actual logic of the program. So if round is equal to 1, which it is, because we initialize it to be 1 globally, so it's always going to be 1 when we start the program. So if round equals 1, well, then we want to make another random number. Stop it. Sorry, I'm a dumb cat scratching my chair. Alright, so ran2, that's going to be the same thing. It's going to be an int, and it's going to be a math.random. and it's going to be by 20 and plus 1. And yeah, I'll resume in the next video, so just watch part 3 to see what happens next.